Hello and welcome to episode 71 of the Movie Bros podcast. We are your hosts, as always, Duncan and Hayden. Hello, hello, salutations, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time you're listening to this. Hi.
Sup, brah?
If you are new folks, this is a weekly podcast of two brothers who watch movies, discuss, ramble, banter, argue, break down all kinds of genres and eras of movies. We post these episodes for you fine folk to listen to. And if you're curious on where else to find this podcast, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Instagram. So we're all over the place. It's pretty easy. And like I said, we cover kind of all kinds of movies. So like last week, we were talking about Dodgeball, which is a more or less straight up comedy. This week, we will not be covering comedy. But yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. Either way.
I was going to say, well, I think this actually has a fair amount of comedy in it. So I don't know.
It does.
But it's not a straight comedy, obviously.
It's not a comedy. With that being said, folks, we're going to be talking about Star Trek. And Hayden, what are some fast film facts about Star Trek?
So this is the Star Trek reboot from 2009. Last week, we talked about Dodgeball from 2004, and I remarked how I was surprised it was now 20 years old. This is not that far behind. This is directed by the well-known and often divisive JJ Abrams, written by Roberto Alcree, Alex Kurtzman, and based upon characters made by Gene Roddenberry, who, if you like Star Trek, you already know. Music is by Michael Giacchino. Cinematography is by Dan Mindel. Stars Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban, Zoe Saldana, Simon Pegg, Anton Yelchin, John Chu, Eric Bana, Bruce Greenwood, featuring Winona Ryder, Chris Hemsworth, Leonard Nimoy, and Jennifer Morrison.
And before we get to anything about this movie, the first two parts of my notes is actually because I watched a Blu-ray copy of this, which again looked amazing, but it showed trailers before this. So,
do you have any? I watched
guesses?
A Blu-ray copy. I watched a Blu-ray copy too, but it didn't do that.
Any guesses on what movies were coming out at this time?
Okay, so it's 2009. I gotta think Avatar.
No, that's too high quality.
Oh,
because again, I feel like at the time before this came, keep in mind before this came out, Star Trek was kind of this like dorky, not
a
super
slightly dead franchise.
Yeah, and like it was the not as good Star Wars at the time. Especially this is after episodes 1, 2, and 3. This is after Lord of the Rings. Like this had not been a franchise of anything of interest for years.
Not really, no. Okay, I don't know.
So first trailer was Transformers 2, which, man, those movies are so fun. They're not great.
The first 3 Transformers are definitely fun. I will never say that they're like high quality cinema though.
No. And then the second trailer was G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, which, holy shit, did that look bad.
I think I saw that once in the break room of an old job I used to have, and it was maybe one of the worst things I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it looked really bad from that trailer. Wow. Just to set the stage for who they like, what kind of stuff they were trying to pair with Star Trek. Because as you said, I mean, JJ Abrams, yeah, he's got some banger hits. He did Lost, but he's kind of is all over the map.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at the time when this came out, JJ Abrams was a weird choice for Star Trek, because Star Trek is a very singular tone and identity and had been for the longest time. So,
yeah, a little bit of camp.
Well, not just that, and this is going to be probably a lot of my review of this, is just the tone of this one being essentially a space action movie was not what Star Trek was known as for pretty much its entire existence.
Sure. I mean, I've seen all the other Star Trek movies, and this is very different.
Well, all the other Star Trek movies, and to some degree, even the show, pretty much any iteration of it, wanted to be like the
A little
thinking
more
man's sci-fi.
scientific. Yeah, yeah.
Like they wanted to try and cover big concepts and
Sure.
morality questions. And
Mm-hmm.
while that is interesting and that's cool, you don't build blockbuster entertainment off of that. You build a loyal
No.
fan base, but not so much the other thing. So this was definitely the attempt from the studio to be like, okay, let's relaunch this IP and try and make it more profitable. So it's
Which I
much
think worked
closer.
really well, to be honest.
Yes
I mean,
and no.
they made 3 movies, Hayden.
They did make 3 movies, but by the third one, these were really comparatively low budget action movies that weren't making a profit. That's why they didn't make any more.
Well, and if you look at it, I mean, especially from the first to the third one even, I feel like they went so far away from the base like content of like being a little more scientifically based, I guess.
Oh
Like
yeah.
by the third one,
What
it's so far much more of an action
once you get
movie.
to Star Trek Beyond, you may as well just call it Flash Gordon.
Or, I mean, the second one had some more like scientific stuff with Khan going
Well, the
on.
second one has its own bottle of issues, which maybe
Yes,
we'll
it
get to
does.
at a different episode. But
Maybe.
today, we're going to focus on Star Trek 2009. So, last episode, we led with ratings. Do we want to end with ratings this time, or do we want to do that again?
Yeah, we can end with ratings.
Okay.
I will say I know that you and feel very similarly about this. Is the music in this is fucking awesome. This is the first thing that I heard of that was Michael Giacchino, I think.
I don't know if it was the first one, but I think it's
I think it's the first one. I mean, I don't know what else would be before this.
Ratatouille, The Incredibles.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
Or, within that same time frame, to be honest.
Well, sure, but
I do know it
either
was
way,
the
just
first physical album I bought that was a soundtrack album was this.
I remember so at the time I had a MP3 player.
Was it the little black
Throw
and
back
green
there.
one?
Yes,
Yep, I
and
have the same one.
uh, one of because I didn't buy albums, I bought individual songs, and I remember buying "Enterprising Young Man" or "Enterprising Young Men" or whatever.
Yep.
And just jamming out to that.
Well, I mean, I could probably go on and on about how great the music is, like because when
It
you get
is.
to the
It's very good.
credits, um, they play the closing music from the original Shatner series,
Uh
and the
huh.
way that it fits so like hand in hand with the new theme is just
Hmm.
awesome. It's so well done. I would also say that like if you've heard any negatives about this movie, it is probably the lens flare jokes over and
I
over
was
again.
literally within seconds. I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't. I get it. I don't agree. And I think that the flashiness and the almost over brightness of some scenes gives this its own like visual identity in a way that the other ones didn't really have. The other ones did come across as trying to be Star Trek, and I like that this one is its own thing.
And that's I was literally about to say that. So I think this might be the only movie where this amount of lens flare, because that's a JJ Abrams thing,
It is.
actually works.
I would say that like
It
there's a
felt
similar
like
thing in Speed Racer.
yes. I mean, there's not lens flares, but yes, I know exactly what you mean. Like they're both their own like clear aesthetics, and it fits the
Hmm.
world that they're trying to create. And I was thinking about this, and I referenced this a couple minutes ago. But so this is again post Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, but it's also pre Disney, really getting into like Marvel and everything else. So
It's very
this
true.
was kind of on its own, and it's like this little pocket of like couple of years where there wasn't any other big competing blockbusters, and
Well, I
that's
mean,
why
you had the Dark
I think
Knights
that at
and
least
things like that.
yes, but they weren't like this big cinematic universe
No.
where you were trying to compete, and that's where like yes, Nolan had his Batman movies, and those were 3 movies, and that was it. You didn't have to compete with all these other like streaming shows and like all these things that are connected to this other thing. And I will say the all the cast, I mean, whoever did the casting for this, excellent job. honestly really, I think everyone is the right person to play this part.
Oh, I mean, that's one of my things I've written down is, I mean, in past episodes we talked about, oh, this is one of the best cast movies ever, and it's been about some other movie. I would absolutely include this in that discussion. I think this is pitch perfect casting across the board. No one gives a bad performance.
Chris
Everyone's
Pine
great.
as the like kind of cocky, like rough and tumble Iowa boy, but Zachary Quinto is such a good Spock.
He's so good as Spock.
Carl Urban is so good as the Doctor. He's like the right
He's
amount of
very funny in
funny.
this.
Uh,
Anton
I
Yelchin
completely
is fantastic too.
Yes, he is as Chekhov. I mean, Simon Pegg. This is like before he kind of became a figure. He's great. He's so fun.
I mean, even Bruce Greenwood as Pike, I think, does an excellent job.
Well, he's good at playing that kind of like authoritative
Kind
character.
of like a dad character.
Yeah, I mean, he's played the president before in
That's
National
true.
Treasure, which we've reviewed. Um, I mean, totally forgot that Eric Bana is the bad guy,
Well,
Nero.
he has a bunch of face stuff on him, so it's a little easier to forget. But
Sure, I mean, I think he still
I
looks
like that
good.
he's just kind of he's almost laid back whenever he's talking to people. Like
Oh,
he's like,
dude,
"Oh,
there's a line that
hey,
I
Chris."
legit laugh at. Yeah, hi Christopher, I'm Nero. I'm
That
like, oh my
like
god,
it's super
this is
funny.
fantastic.
It's just so not what you're expecting the guy who just destroyed an entire planet to sound like.
Yes, yes. Also, why the fuck was Tyler Perry is just in this
I That
for
fucking
not
hits
like a
me.
not a throwaway scene. Like he's in multiple scenes,
No, that hits me like fucking whiplash every time I watch this. I'm like, Tyler Perry, what are you doing here?
and it's before I think he really got into all of his stuff because maybe he just wanted to be an actor at
Well,
that point. I don't know.
no, the Medea movies were still a big thing back then. I think what it is that in general, actors just like Star Trek a lot.
Sure.
It has such a dedicated fan base. I wouldn't doubt that that's the reason. And I would actually count. I mean, I'm not going to count myself as an actor, but I would absolutely count myself as part of that dedicated, like original '60s Gene Roddenberry Star Trek fan. I would buy those on like nice copies if I wanted to shell out like a couple $100 for it. I absolutely love it. And not that you can't appreciate this if you haven't seen it, because obviously you can, but there are so many nice little nods and
Hmm.
background characters and just nice bits of updating things throughout the whole movie. It's just, I don't understand the complaint that some people have about this movie that it's not faithful to its source, because it overwhelmingly is.
Something that I thought was, I think, a smart choice that they did was they used enough of the story and the plot of the whole quote unquote time travel stuff going on, where they even gave more homage, I think, with using Leonard Nimoy.
Hmm.
Because
I don't
they,
think it would have made as. I mean, obviously you'd have to redo the plot, but I don't know if it would make as much
sure.
sense if you had used Shatner instead.
Yes. No, I think Spock is definitely the right choice. And especially the last bit where it's like right before the credits and it's the older Spock doing the whole quote or
Oh,
whatever.
goosebumps, brother.
Great. But I think the real like not standout because there's a lot of little things here and there that make this movie work, but it's the relationship between Chris Pine and Zachary Quintos of this
They
like
are such a good, almost like buddy cop in this.
sort of, yeah. It's like they're one upping each other, but also they're like trying to be friends. And then there's the whole like, oh, there's Zoe Saldana a little bit. No,
I
it's great.
do question why she's immediately kissing him in like a lift.
Yeah, there are parts where I'm like, oh, like you just wouldn't do that as an officer, or just in
Probably
general,
not.
you just wouldn't do that,
And
especially
also,
with
like,
Spock being like super rule regimented. He would not allow that. I feel
no.
like,
And also, like, before they left to go out and to answer that quote unquote distress call, he was her teacher. That's why he was
yeah,
assigning, like, so,
yes,
like, you wouldn't, like, that'd be like immediately graduating college and going, like, you know what? I should go out and make out with my professor.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you want to read into this, but
Well, yeah, that's fair.
yeah. The scene where they have to like disappear inside Saturn's like cloudy ring and they're
Oh,
rising, dude. That plus
just
the music,
amazing.
so fucking good.
I really like all the snow planet stuff
Mm-hmm.
because it was a problem that the prequels for Star Trek for Star Wars fixed as well. Whereas, like, okay, we can actually go to alien worlds and have them look
It's
like
not just
actual alien
Tatooine.
worlds.
Yes. Yes.
Well, not just that. Like, as much as I love the original trilogy of Star Wars, a lot of things look like sets, or they look like, oh, we're literally just in Oregon. We're not on, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah. No, I
the
get it.
fucking Wookiee
I
planet
get
or
that.
whatever. I like that the snow planet scene looks like they're on another planet. I like that um, Vulcan looks like another planet, especially, as much as I love to talk up the original Shatner show, it just really crappy sets all the way around. It added to the charm, but it's
Sure.
definitely helped here that they put the extra effort into making the fantastical look believable.
And speaking about the music, so there's all the like instrumental stuff that Giacchino does, and then there's a few points throughout the movie. They don't use it often, but there's a few point where they switch to chorale music, where it's all the singing voices, and they're still doing the same like renditions. It still sounds like it's part of the cohesive soundtrack,
Oh yeah.
but it's no longer less like an orchestra. It's like chorale music. Again, if they used it too much, not good. But it was just like the right amount of like little sprinklings throughout.
Well, it's like the really good opening scene with Chris Hemsworth and Jennifer Morrison.
Hmm.
That whole like super sad sounding like
Yes.
heroic music that plays when he's sacrificing himself. Oh, it's so
That
good.
music really made me think, oh, it almost like if I closed my eyes and I just heard that music, I would think we were watching Lost.
Well,
It sounded
Giacchino did
so much
also
like
work on
Lost.
Lost.
Like it sounds like, oh, Charlie is drowning in the hatch or whatever.
Yeah, I never finished that show.
I
It
didn't
just it
either. I
just
kind
got
of
too
gave up.
weird.
Yes. So there's the lens flare, which yes, I am totally okay with, and I think again it makes sense. But there's the ending when Nero's ship is like getting crushed apart by the black hole that's within itself,
Yep.
and there's like crazy flashing white lights. And then there's a part where they're trying to get away from the black hole, where they like dump their cores, and the whole thing explodes, and they're driving out of that. Again, I think it works, but there was a couple of those things where I was like, man, like if I was susceptible to like
Oh,
fucking
this
epilepsy or something, like
yeah.
Jesus Christ,
I wouldn't be shocked, and I don't remember it obviously, but I
if
wouldn't
it
be
had a
shocked
warning.
if they didn't have like an epilepsy
I don't
warning
remember because
because
I'm like, it definitely should have
yeah.
had one. If it didn't, like that'd be a mistake.
Well, I like I mean, and it's an explanation that I made up in my own head, but I like the idea that the reason there's so many lens flares in this is that if they're in the vacuum of space, there's nothing like there's no air particles to cause distortion. You would be seeing everything as bright as possible.
Well, and I also think it lends to the like the newness of the ship, because even when they're on the inside looking not towards like the viewpoint, they're looking towards the back, like over Chris Pine's shoulder or something, there's
Yeah.
still lens flares. So I'm like, okay, all this stuff is like brand spanking new. This is futuristic, this is technology.
Yeah. I like that it's yes, that is like glowing Apple Store touchscreens are all over
Hmm.
the place, but I like that they have like handheld
There's some
tricorders. I
knobs,
like that there's
yes.
knobs and buttons still. I think it's a very nice mix of bringing in some of the new stuff while making the old stuff still there.
Hmm. So I was trying to figure out. So they at one point they say the star date, which is 220304. I'm
Oh,
like,
you wrote
okay,
that down?
how
I
did
did not. I didn't.
I wrote it down because I was like, okay, how does that correlate to a year? Like, is
I
that all the year, or is part of that like, oh, is this the month, or is this like,
I know there
how does
are
their
Star
calendar
Trek
work?
people who could tell you, and I am not that person. I don't know. Like I once tried to figure it out when I was watching Next Generation with like Patrick Stewart and Jonathan
Or he's
Frakes.
saying like blah 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 point three or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
I could never get a handle of what was it of what it was.
I also wrote down Numb Tongue because again there is some comedy in this.
And the whole bit
The
where his
big
hands
inflatable
swell up.
hands.
Yep.
Yes, that's
Well,
great.
there's a lot of really nice practical like suits and makeup just all over the place because this has a ton of extras just walking around in the background. You have
Sure.
aliens. You have Deep Roy, who is a uh, dwarf actor who shows up all over the place. He plays Simon Pegg's friend. I don't
Coworker.
remember his name in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just there's a lot of really nice makeup all over the place.
I also wrote down the boob grab where they're in the bar fight. I was
He
like, dude,
momentarily grins like an idiot.
the little smile is so funny.
Well, that whole like banter exchange where she's like, "Oh, I thought you just had sex with farm animals," and he's like, "Well, not
He's like, not
only."
only. Yeah.
It's a lot of the dialogue is written very, very funny.
Well, again, that's why I think Chris Pine and Quintos is such a good pair because one is so like charming and like loose, and the other one is so so Spock.
Yeah. So you watch this on a Blu-ray copy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have that Blu-ray copy?
No, it's at the parents.
So if you ever get the chance, you should look up part of the gag reel because okay, so remember the scene where uh, Spock is flying. Okay, young Spock is flying the time travel ship back to
Uh
the
huh.
Enterprise, and
Yes.
like, and they're having the whole thing. Oh, I feel like I've already been here, and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
a scene where they're doing that, but they're both talking in like ridiculous Scottish accents. It is
Okay.
so funny. If you can, I'll see if I can find it on YouTube or something. I'll have to send it to you. It's hilarious.
Okay. Okay. That does sound funny.
I do. I mean, obviously, we both really enjoy this. I certainly really enjoy this. Whenever I watch it, I'm like, why didn't we get more of these? Like, even if you just reuse this same cast and made like a streaming show about it or something, just
Streaming wasn't a thing yet.
well, that's very true. It is now, and they couldn't have possibly known that then. But I just this cast works so well together.
They do.
I wish there was more of this around. Granted, the three movies are still great. I love them. I own them all. But like, I want 12.
Sure. Sure. One thing that I kind of took issue with, and I think this is true of all of the Star Treks that I've ever seen, is realistically, if there was an issue, the captain wouldn't be like, I'm leaving to go deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you noticed this, they switched whoever was in charge of the ship like 9 different times. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
you
It's
have
like,
the
oh
con. Oh, you have the con. Oh,
yeah.
no, you have the con. I'm like, this wouldn't happen.
No. Well, it wouldn't happen in real life, but that is a thing that happened even in like, you know, even in the original show, even
No, no,
in
that's what I'm
Next
saying. Like, I've seen the
Generation.
other ones and like they constantly do, and it just never made sense. I was like, you have people that do this for you. Like, you stay, like, the captain stays there to manage like, you don't go,
Well, it's like
whatever.
Pike before he's fed a slug or whatever. He's
Uh
like,
huh.
okay, Kirk, you're now second in command of the entire ship, which, by the way, I'm kind of with Spock with his reaction of what the fuck are you talking about? But like, okay,
Mm
Kirk,
hmm.
you're second in command of the entire ship. All these people's lives are in your hands. But also, I want you to base jump from orbit onto a moving spike covered platform. What? Why? We have an entire, like, not saying, hey, we have expendable people, but like, why
They
would you
did.
do that?
And also, the combat experience that Sulu has is just fencing, which I'm like, dude, that's a funny little joke.
So it is a funny joke, but it is a direct reference to a well-known scene from the original of George Takei shirtless, covered in oil with a fencing sword, trying to fight
Okay.
William Shat. It was listen. Weird things happened on the original show. The longer it went on, that was one of them. So that's I'm almost certain that that is a reference to that.
Okay.
Another thing that I see criticized often is that okay, why is Zoe Saldana and the green skinned girl having a full conversation in their underwear for no reason. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, Star Trek? Really? You're surprised that Kirk is sleeping with random alien women in Star Trek? That's like his, especially the
Yes.
Shatner era, that's almost his entire character. There are
Yes.
entire plot lines surrounding of Kirk wants to get laid with a random like blue-skinned woman, and they just draw that out for like 45 minutes. I don't get the complaint that, oh, that's not realistic. No, that is entirely realistic.
Yeah, I didn't really bat an eye at that. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Well, I know at the time people were like, "Oh, this is exploitative of women and yada yada yada." It's just like, no, this is just
That's
what
the
Star Trek
character.
is like.
Well, does it bucket? I think it. I mean, you could
I
do this.
I
You could do
mean,
the Enterprise pretty easily.
I would say this absolutely is an easy yes because yeah, you could do the Enterprise, you could do the Volca, the big Vulcan spiky ship. You could do a tricorder. You lift off the top and it's your soda.
Sure. Yeah, you
Very
got
easily
options.
to do. If people enjoyed this, what would you recommend them?
Um.
I mean,
Well,
obviously
I
the
would
other
probably
the other
say,
two.
yeah. Obviously, the other two. What else?
I
Um.
would say Force Awakens, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it because it is kind of a restart of the same kind of thing
Yeah.
in a new era. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I can agree with that.
Sorry, I think I cut you off in what you were saying though.
No, I was just thinking. No, you're good.
And yes, I would absolutely recommend this to literally anyone. It's I think what's so impressive about the way this one is done is that people who have been Star Trek nerds forever will get something out of it. People who have never seen Star Trek anything will get something out of it. It is crowd pleasing in the best way possible.
I'm looking at Letterboxd, so you can also look at similar films, and it literally like the first one, Star Wars: The Force Awakens,
Yeah.
Man of Steel.
I don't see it, but okay.
Well, no, it's just like if you're thinking of like movies that have not been made in a while that they are remaking for a new audience.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the trailers, at least the Transformers trailers, make sense because I think it's the kind of the same like uh actiony, enough adult to be adult, but not so adult that you couldn't take a kid to it.
That's true. Speaking of trailers, though, I'm probably gonna find this one and find a way to share it to our Instagram. But because I remember that the way this trailer was cut was so good. It showed like brief glimpses of stuff, and then it just hangs on that one shot where it's uh, Chris Pine on his motorbike looking up at the
Yes. Oh, I
Enterprise
do
being
remember that.
built.
Yes.
It it's so good. Like I would say in general, JJ Abrams movies have very good trailers because like Force Awakens is an amazing trailer.
Well, again, that's why I think we could have it. I don't know how we would do it, but I think we should definitely do an episode where we just talk trailers and watch trailers. And
Well, so
hold
when we
on.
post this, you're going to
And
be out of town. Why don't I
yes.
think of some trailers to show you and we can talk about them when you're back?
And I was also thinking maybe we start each episode by watching whatever trailer of the movie that we're going to
Oh,
be
that's a good
talking about.
idea. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think that would really set the mood for what we're going to be talking about too.
Sure.
Um,
Not sure how that'll do
and
audio wise, but I think it's a fun idea.
yeah, so yes, the trailer for this, I will probably want to rewatch this, but because I heard, if I remember right, yeah, that especially the ending bit with Chris Pine looking up at like them building the uh the Enterprise. Yes, I do
There's a
remember
lot
that.
of there's a lot of really really nice shots in this, just in general.
And that's something that I think our last episode lacked. We didn't really talk about it, but the
Well,
cinematography in Dodgeball is not really there. I mean, it gets the job done, but there wasn't anything interesting about it. And this is not like super, super like creative cinematography, but it's
oh,
still
I
like
don't know.
good. Like it's, I don't
Well,
know how to
I
explain
no
it.
no no. I mean, I guess
You
you're
know what I
right.
mean?
They're not pushing the envelope with anything that they're doing. They're just doing everything really well.
Exactly. It feels really high quality.
Like, granted, I love sci-fi, so anything set in space, I'm going to be like, oh, that looks great. But truly, the space shots in this look amazing. For something that's nearly 20 years old, the movie looks incredible.
It does. And I also think part of that is there wasn't like a rush to make it again because it was in that pocket between all these other big things coming out where they weren't like, oh, we have to get this out. Like I feel
Well,
like
the first
nowadays,
one,
like
no.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like the first one, like all these other things that came out because they were so successful, they're like, oh, we need to keep making them quickly while they're like the popularity is still there. That's why like the Marvel movies, for example, suffered so much because they were not taking their time and it didn't look very good. This they definitely like took their time making this, and it looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, anything else you can think of?
Just that I love how colorful all the set design is. I think that there
Colorful, but
is
not like it makes sense.
exactly. And I think that with a lot of science fiction, especially when you reboot something, there's a tendency to go dull gray colors to make it seem more gritty and more realistic.
Sure,
I like
dark and
that this
muted. Yeah,
stuck with the guns of like if you watch the Shatner episodes, it's super brightly colored. It's lots of accent lighting. It's lots of bright reds and blues and greens all over the place. And I like that that kind of shows up here, especially when they're walking around the Enterprise and you have like all these brightly colored pipes all over the place. I like I like that they kept that same kind of like color language, I guess.
sure.
Well, we are recording this 1 week out, so I don't know if we'll have anything really to talk about for anything we're looking forward to or have watched.
Well, maybe in a well, I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything for that to be honest, but as a separate thought,
Oh, we
so
didn't give
we are
ratings.
showing. Oh yeah, I think I gave this.
Whoops.
Maybe that's why we do the ratings at the top,
Let's do
so we
that
don't
from
forget.
now on.
I gave this a 4 to 4.5, somewhere in there.
I'm also going with a 4.5. I think this is very nearly flawless. I don't know what I would change, but I don't know if it's quite there yet.
I agree. On a sort of separate, sort of not separate conversation, but so we're showing the Bruce Springsteen biopic at my work right now, which he's not dead. He's still. Why? That
Well,
that
I
is beside
mean,
the point.
yeah.
But
It's
my
also not
question
doing well
is
box office wise, as far as I know.
weird. Like, I think it's because our clientele is like the right demographic, but we're doing
That's
well.
fair.
But yeah, I've heard otherwise it's not doing so great. Either way, what do you think? Who do you think should get the next biopic? Like, who deserves it?
I mean, genuinely, I think we should have a moratorium on biopics for the next decade. However,
Well, if when you look at it, yes, like right now there are a lot, but biopics have been a thing for a long time.
oh, I know.
Like we just
Um,
talked about Ray from like almost 20 years ago.
it's very true. It's very true. I
Like there's
think it
a
has to be like it has to be someone that like the general population actually knows about. So not like a Mark Kerr in the Smashing Machine.
which was good, but yeah, it was too obscure.
I actually I think a Brad Bird biopic would be interesting. See the creation of Pixar and the ups and downs and the office politics side of that. I think would be very interesting. Um,
Yeah, I don't know how much of a wide audience that would
well,
have.
that's very true.
I was thinking, and
Or
so I can't claim the credit for this. Someone at my work suggested. I was like, man, I think that's a great answer. I think I mean obviously he's also not dead yet, but Billy Joel I think would be a great one.
yeah, that's very true. I think do. Okay, so do we want to? Should we implement a rule where they have to be dead first, or no?
I I
Because Brad Bird is also
ins-
not dead.
I instinctively want them to be wait till they're dead because again, you're telling the story of their life, and if they're still alive and like not even that old, like the story's not over yet. Like Bruce Springsteen, like he's still like playing music. What are we doing here? But supposedly the movie that just came out with Jeremy Allen White isn't even like his whole life. It's just about one album.
Wait, really?
Yes.
It's him writing one album. It's not his whole life.
Correct. It's just one album.
That's
That's why people are
dumb.
saying like, oh, and the whole movie is because it's all about that one album. That album is pretty like it's not a very happy album. The whole movie is supposedly pretty like not uplifting. It sounds like it's pretty moody. Uh, so people are saying that he's going to make another one for a different album and make another movie. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I think if I'm the person providing financing for him, I would be like, you know what? Let's maybe put a pin in it and see how many people are actually interested in the first one.
Sure, I don't know how much of this he's also self-financing, but either way, yeah, I think
Um,
Billy Joel would be good.
I think now
It
that he
also doesn't have to
has,
be musicians either, but
I think now that he has actually passed away, I think a Stan Lee one would be very interesting. I
yeah,
think there'd be a big audience for that. I don't.
I think there would be a huge if you did it well. I think there'd be a huge
I
audience
think
for
it'd
that.
be hard to cast him,
Yes, because he's
but
so
well,
clearly who he is.
he's and in some ways, we as the general public know him more almost as a caricature at this point,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think a biopic would probably be interesting. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd go with like a Stanley.
That's a good idea. What else? Because I was trying to think. Okay, like, is there any athletes or anything? Okay, I don't really
I
know or
don't want
care.
athletic stuff to know.
Okay, is there any like authors or is there any like artists or I don't know.
Um, I mean, I can, I don't know. I think that any authors I think of are not going to be. I mean, not that I'm reading super niche people, but I'm like, I don't know that the population at large is
Yes.
going to know
No,
who
I know what
Arthur
you're
C.
saying.
Clarke is. I don't know that they're
Yes.
going to know who Heinlein is. You know?
Yes. Well, I was even thinking like, oh, like some of the like stand-up comedians alike would probably have an interesting backstory, but they're all either so young or they're still like
Yeah,
they're too big right now. Like they need to go kind of they need to go into more obscurity before I feel like you could like justify doing something like that. I don't know.
but also. I can't think of any like old stand-up comedians that would fit though.
Exactly. I'm saying like none of them are old enough yet.
Well, no,
Like,
I mean just like obviously there have been other stand-up comedians, but like,
well, sure.
can you
Like,
think of any?
the one that most all of everyone references that has
Oh well, I
been
mean
dead for a while
there's Carlin.
is Carlin or I feel like it starts with a P, Price or something, but I can't think of the name now.
Oh, yeah, he was in one of the bad Superman movies.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, yes, them, him.
yeah. I
I
mean,
feel like Gene
I almost want
Wilder,
to say Robin
Gene
Williams.
Wilder, Robin Williams would be good, but
I think he would be impossible to cast
I think he'd be really impossible to cast, and at least cast well.
because not that other people can't be high energy and
No,
wacky
he's
fun,
in
but
his
like
own.
he's a specific kind of that would be almost impossible to replicate.
Yes, well, it's that plus his other side of it, where like the serious side.
Sure.
That yeah,
Well, it's just like
what a talent.
speaking of what a talent, there's a trailer out for a new Michael Jackson one starring one of his like actual
Yes,
descendants, which don't get me wrong, I like Thriller. I like Billie Jean. I'm not the target audience for this. So maybe people
no.
are really hyped about this, but I don't know.
Well, look at he was. I mean, Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson for like
Well,
a
I mean,
long time. Like his funeral was this huge, crazy thing.
yeah, I mean the biggest, most recognizable star on planet Earth. And
But I feel
I
like
see people
time
online
plus all
sometime.
the like backlashy stuff. I don't
Well,
know.
I, I I am curious to see how they handle that because I think it'd be possible not to, like if they just don't mention it at all. It would be interesting to see how, if at all, they mention like the court case and things like that.
Is there any other like I'm thinking like okay, what about actors or actors? Because yeah, like again, Gene Wilder. I feel like Jeremy Allen White actually just
Jeremy
looks like
Allen
Gene
White,
Wilder.
he absolutely does. Well, I know we're getting an Audrey Hepburn one, and I was going to say
What about
her.
or like a Christopher Plummer or
I think don't get me wrong, Christopher Plummer is cool. I don't know that that's a you
it's
got to
too
think
obscure.
okay, it's too obscure. I think that's a lot of the
Yes.
problems with many different actors, that it's going to be too obscure.
Like, I know, I mean, this is gonna be, I think, years and years away, but, there will probably be something for Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt.
Oh, absolutely. Although there is some possibly exciting news about a new movie coming out that I just remembered.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I know which one you're thinking of.
Rachel Weisz and Brendan
Yes,
Fraser have agreed to sign on for a brand new Mummy movie under the condition that it does not mention number three at all.
which I like, but also, I
I don't
mean,
know if you can
you're
recreate the magic from like the early 90s at this point.
exactly. I mean, A, that's for sure part of it, but also they're just, I mean, you're too old.
And they're getting the people who did Ready or Not and like Scream 6 to do it. And I like Ready or Not. I don't give a shit about Scream, but I like Ready or Not, but I don't know if that's the right people to do the Mummy. I don't know.
Mummy was like horror, but there was way much more adventure to it, I thought.
Oh, it's absolutely adventure.
And again,
Also,
when you see,
you can't do it without her brother too. Daryl Hannah.
sure, I mean, or even the Arabian dude, or
Oh yeah,
the guy who
yeah.
plays the mummy. I'm like, how are you guys gonna?
I
I
think
mean, what are
he
you doing?
passed away. Or no.
Even
The actress who plays Anaxunamun passed away.
hmm, just either way, just I like the idea, but I think they are too little, too late.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a Brendan Fraser like
Yes,
renaissance, if you will, of
Renaissance.
people kind of rediscovering him. So I don't know if it's too little, too late, but I think, or yeah, I don't know, because for the Mummy specifically, it might be, but maybe not for their careers.
True, true. Well, I think that's enough time. I don't think we need to stretch.
That's longer than I thought we were going to go for Star Trek, although I think we're going to cut some of that out. Regardless,
Sure.
um, obviously, we will both recommend you watch this. It is available on Netflix, but we both have physical copies. Um,
I don't think it's
Duncan, what are we
Netflix, but okay.
watching next week?
And so next week, folks, we are going to be most likely, it's not a guarantee, but it's a looking like a more probable than not. We'll be watching and reviewing and talking about Frankenstein, the one that's coming out this year with
Jason
uh,
Isaac. Jason Isaac,
Jason
that's the one, right?
Isaac,
No,
Jacob Elordi,
not
Oscar
Jason
Isaac,
Isaac. Oscar Isaac.
and Mia Goth
Mia Goth.
from
Yeah.
uh, Del Toro. Yes. Either way, you can find that on Netflix, I believe. And join us next week for episode 72 of the Movie Bros podcast.